Hello and welcome to the Moms Who Know podcast. I'm your host, Chanel Nielsen, and it's just me today. I wanted to talk a little bit about exercise. So, exercise is something that people are polarized by, right? We have people who love exercise and people who can't stand exercise. And we all know that it's good for us. We all know we should exercise, but there's a lot of guilt and a lot of emotions and things around exercise. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. So to start off, I'll tell you a little bit about my exercise background. I am currently a certified yoga instructor with my 200-hour certification. And I've been teaching yoga since 2005, along with other fitness classes, but 2005 was when I started yoga. And I've been teaching fitness since 1996, which makes me sound pretty old, but I started my first year in college. And I got into it because I took a water aerobics class, and the teacher who taught that at my college, she was older. And what she liked to do was she liked to have her teacher's aides teach the class for her. So she told us during this water aerobics class that in the fall she needed a teacher's aide for her regular aerobics class. And I thought that sounded cool. I'd like to do that. And so I said I would be her teacher's aide. And then when we got to class, a lot of times she would turn it over to the teacher's aides and just have us teach. And so it was kind of a trial by fire, and I got to teach and learn at the same time, learn how to teach these aerobics classes, and I went on to get certified. I've taught at Gold's Gym, 24-hour fitness, a lot of private facilities, different things where I'd come in during people's lunch break and teach, or things like that. And then in 2005, I was working for 24-hour fitness, and they needed someone to teach senior aerobics and senior mind and body. And the senior aerobics I was comfortable with, that sounded great, but it was followed by a half-hour senior mind and body class. And I thought, what on earth am I going to teach? It was a half-hour long. How am I going to teach stretching for half an hour? And so I learned yoga and how to teach it, and I just started to love it and went on to get my certification. For a while, I owned a little yoga studio in town. I've taught at the school district, both children and parents at the school district, and I currently teach at the park. I have a class for the community, and it's a donation class, and people come, and we love it. We go outside under the trees, and it's just beautiful and so nice to do yoga outside. So that is my teaching background with exercise. And then throughout all that teaching, I've had my own personal exercise routine. So I'll talk a little bit more about what I enjoy for exercise as we go on. But first I want to talk about the benefits of exercise. A lot of these will be familiar to you, but I hope that some of them are things that maybe you haven't thought of. So I think the most common one that we think of, people think, oh, I want to exercise to lose weight or to be healthy. That whole idea of if we exercise, we'll be thin and we'll fit society's mold. So that's a really common benefit, and it definitely does have that benefit of making our bodies look better. Exercise, it seems like you cannot pick up a magazine without it saying something about some health condition or disease that exercise helps with. And these are both mental and physical. So we know that exercise will help people with diabetes or any type of metabolic syndrome. It will help if people are suffering with anxiety or depression or anything like that. It helps your heart be healthier. Pretty much any function of the body is helped by moving your body and being active. Exercise helps your mood. I know that a lot of times when we get stressed, we get grumpy, and exercise really helps to relieve stress. It helps us to be able to relax a little bit better, which goes on to the next one, which is exercise helps us sleep. Our bodies need to move and put forth a little bit of energy and then they're able to recover and repair at night in sleep. But we need that active part to really get into that restorative aspect of sleep. Exercise helps our energy. That's kind of a weird one because it sometimes seems like you might not have the energy to exercise. You might feel like, "Oh, I can't exercise. I'm too tired." But something happens when you go out and you move your body, your energy levels lift. And so, if you have not had experience with that, if you're feeling too tired to exercise, put on your shoes, go outside, go for a little walk, and see how it changes and shifts that energy. Exercise helps you to have a longer life. It's been proven in studies that you will live longer if you exercise regularly. And now the fun ones. So these ones are the ones that are most exciting to me. Exercise helps you be more productive. So that's really interesting because one of the reasons that we think we can't exercise is because we think we don't have time. That's one of the most common obstacles. I'm too busy. I don't have time to exercise. And so when we know that exercise makes us more productive, then we can make that trade-off. We can say, okay, I can go exercise because I'll be able to get more done in less time when I get back from my exercise. So that's really powerful because knowing that benefit takes away one of our excuses. And any of the excuses we can take away, that's a good thing. Another benefit of exercise, it makes you more creative. And this has to do with what exercise does in the brain. Now, I don't know all the science and I don't know exactly how to describe it scientifically, but what I do know is this. Exercise clears out the mind. It clears the cobwebs. You get rid of some of those things that are weighing you down, and you're able to think more clearly. And probably you've had this experience like I have where you're thinking about a problem, you're trying to figure something out. How is this going to work? What do I do? And then you take a break and you go outside and go for a walk, or you go do a yoga class, or you go for a run, which I try to avoid, but we'll talk more about that later. Whatever it is that you personally like, and you go and do it, and then you come back to your problem and it seems so much clearer, and you're able to solve it in a new way, in a creative way. You're able to come up with solutions that you weren't able to come up with before. And that is a thing that's happening in the mind directly because of exercise. The last one that I wanted to talk about for benefits is self-esteem. When you exercise, you feel better about yourself. And I talked about looking better. This is not the same. So, feeling better in your body, whether your body ever changes the way it looks or not, you will feel better about your body because you move it. And because you feel better, you'll want to move your body more. So, it's a positive cycle there that leads you to continue exercising and to continue getting these benefits. So, let's talk a little bit now about some of the obstacles. Why don't we exercise? So I mentioned the first and most common one is that we're busy. We are busy people. There's always something else to do besides exercise. So I mentioned one of the ways to overcome that is knowing that you'll be more productive after you exercise. But another thing that I wanted to really hit on is sometimes we have this idea that the only exercise that counts is if you get dressed up in your cute workout clothes and you put on your fancy shoes and you go to the gym, which you've paid for, and you do an hour-long class, or you run for an hour on the treadmill, or if you're a runner, you have to go for 5 miles outside. That's not true. Exercise does not have to be long to be beneficial. It is way more important that you're consistent with your exercise than that you do it for a long amount of time. So you want to make a time to consistently get in that exercise, even when you're busy. So a few things that I do in the past, I've always made it a priority to exercise. And so in the past, sometimes I would say, okay, I will exercise every day for at least 10 minutes. And maybe all I'm going to do is 10 minutes. There's some videos DVDs I used to have called 10-minute solutions. And I would do one of those before I went to bed. If I hadn't done anything else, then I would at least get that in. And 10 minutes, we can do that. Like, that's totally doable. What I do now is very first thing, the way I start my day every day, and I mentioned this on my morning routine, but I start my day every single day with yoga. And it's not necessarily long, but it is very, very consistent. I do that every day, no matter what else is going on. So if you're feeling like you're too busy to exercise, the first thing I would say is to make smaller goals. Be okay with 5 minutes of exercise. Be okay with just a few minutes. Be okay with a walk around the block. Whatever you can consistently fit into your schedule, then that can be your goal and that can be your exercise. And you know what? Some days you might do even more, and that's awesome. But if that's all you can do is a little bit, then do it. That's great because no one's too busy for that. And the second obstacle, which you might have already been thinking of, you might think, oh, I'm not too busy. It's because I have kids. And that is a wonderful obstacle, but an obstacle still to exercise because when we're trying to do this exercise, kids seem to have their own idea. If we're doing push ups on the floor, kids think that you're the new jungle gym to climb on. And it can make it really frustrating if you're trying to work really hard and kids are climbing on you, or they need a snack, or they need help in the bathroom. You know how it goes. All these things seem to happen while you're trying to exercise. So, for me personally, when I have a baby, I go walking and I love to go outside and put the baby in the stroller and go walking. And I'm lucky enough, we live in Southern California, so the weather is nice most of the time, and most of the time I can go out. And if it's a little bit cold, then put on a hat and a sweatshirt, and we're usually okay. So I'm able to do that with my kids. If you don't live in a place where that's possible to go outside and exercise, of course, there are things like mall walking or hopefully a local track or something like that where you can take the kids with you. And if you have young kids, that is the easiest way that I've found, is to just bring them with you. Now, there are some other options and they're going to depend on some things. So one of those is to join a gym that has childcare. Of course, money and time and all those things can be an obstacle, because instead of making it a quick and easy thing, a 5 minute workout, maybe you're going to have to get dressed and get the kids dressed and drive to the gym and do all these things. But bonus, you get time to yourself to exercise. So of course, that's a wonderful thing when that can happen. Another obstacle that people mention to me a lot is that they don't like exercising. They want to exercise, but they just don't enjoy it. And so this is huge. This is a huge one because I believe that there is an exercise out there for everyone. There are so many different things that you can do that will move your body and help you to be healthier and get all those benefits we talked about that aren't necessarily the ones that we think of. So that can be anything from taking different kind of classes like a Zumba class or a ballet class, some kind of dance. You can do gardening outside. Gardening is really good for your health, and it has all these exercise benefits because you're moving your body. There are all kinds of videos on YouTube. My husband got me into Qigong and Tai Chi, which we like to joke is kind of an old people exercise. In fact, I go to a class and it's taught by this darling woman from India who's probably in her 70s, and most of the class is about her age, and I'm by far the youngest one that goes, but I just love it. It's a really fun exercise, and that's something that you might not think of when you think of exercise. It's not something we see all the time or talk about a lot, and yet it's out there and there's classes available and it's wonderful. And if you can't get out and find a class, it's so awesome to use YouTube as a resource for anything like that. Tai Chi, Qigong, there's yoga, there's workout videos. You can do high intensity interval training, or any kind of workout video you're looking for, you can find on YouTube. And that's a really huge thing. If you are pressed for time, put a list together of videos you want to watch in the future. And when you have time, you don't have to search. You just go to your watch later list, click on one of those videos, and get it done while the kids are napping or while dad has the kids in the bathtub or something like that. Another obstacle I hear with people is that they don't like being sore after exercise. And they don't like that feeling. And so they avoid exercising so that they don't feel sore. So, for that one, I would say that you don't have to exercise so hard that you feel really sore the next day. Of course, you want to challenge your body in some ways, but if that is keeping you from exercising, then take it easier. Don't work out as hard, and it's okay. You're still doing something and receiving those benefits, even if you're not pushing your body to its limits. One of the most important things that we can do in this whole process is to ask ourselves a question, a couple of questions. First, ask yourself why. Why am I exercising? What goals am I trying to accomplish through this exercise? And what exercise can help me to get to those goals? So, let me explain a little bit about what I mean and what I do personally that helps me to reach my goals. So, one of the goals that I have with exercise is to have a quieter mind, to have a little moment of peace. And so for me, that means that I like to have my yoga time in the office with the door shut. I like to do yoga at a time that I'm not going to be interrupted. And I like to do a practice, and it's not always necessarily yoga. Sometimes I'll do qigong or tai chi, like I mentioned, but I like to do something that is calm and slow and a little bit restorative, because that helps with the mental aspect that I need, and it helps me to get there. The other thing that I really try to do with my exercise is, as much as possible, I try to go outdoors. I like to be outside. I like to feel the sunshine. I like to have that interaction with nature, just feeling the breeze in the trees and hearing the birds and feeling the sunshine and all those things. Another thing that is a goal for me with exercise is social. Sometimes, between working at home and running the kids around, I don't get out with friends as much as I would like to. And so it's awesome for me to go and do my exercise with friends. So I have friends that I go walking with, and I just love that time that we're able to talk, and they help me to work harder. We exercise a little bit harder because we're walking and talking. And then the conversation is awesome and restorative for me too, because we're able to really talk about things that are important to us, and we're able to get a little deeper into conversations than we would if we were just at the pickup line after school or things like that. We're able to really talk. And so those are some side benefits and some other things I'm trying to accomplish that get done along with my exercise. Now, as for the physical part of exercise, what I'm trying to accomplish is I want to feel that openness and suppleness in my body. I want to have good posture. I want to feel strong enough to do the things I need to do in the day. And that means I want, strong arms to push the cart at Costco and a strong back to lift all those groceries into the van at Costco. So my life sort of revolves around grocery shopping. But, that is what I need strength for. I need strong arms to carry my babies. I need to be strong to be able to get through my day and to have the energy to do that. And so that also means, I mentioned running earlier. Running exhausts me. I don't want to go running for 10 miles. I have friends who do that and they love it. And if that's you, that's awesome. You can keep doing that and enjoy. But for me, I want to do an exercise that is going to energize me. And that means that I can only push myself to a certain level. And I know my body well enough to know what that level is. And I work out hard, but I still have energy left for other things. So those are some of the things that I want with my exercise. I think it's really important just as with other areas of life, that we're intentional about our exercise and we understand what we want to accomplish from our exercise, because that deeper why, that deeper purpose is going to propel you forward and get you out there doing that consistent exercise. And at the end of all of it, it's the consistency that counts. If you do a 30-day exercise boot camp and you work out really long and really hard for 30 days, then you're only going to be 30 days fitter than you were before you started. But if you're able to work exercise into your life and make it a regular part of your life, even if it's short, even if it's not super high intensity, whatever it is that works for you, if it can become a part of your life, that's when you're going to see all of these health benefits and all of these benefits to your life because of that consistency. So start with your why, give it some thought and ponder why you want to exercise, and then move forward. Have a great workout. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me on Moms Who Know, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe to Moms Who Know so you never miss an episode, and join the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/Moms Who Know podcast.